Hello, my name's Miss Thornton. I'm Head of English at Harris Academy Greenwich, and I'm going to talk to you about GCSE English Literature and English Language. I thought we'd start with a couple of quotes that I think sum up really well English literature and English language. Books are the quietest and most constant of friends. They are the most accessible and wisest of counsellors and the most patient of teachers. I think that sums up English literature and reading books really well. And English language, the limits of my language mean the limits of my world. So the more we study, the more we learn, the wider and more open the world is for us. You will definitely be studying English at Key Stage 4. It is a compulsory subject, but I think it's important to recognise what's good about it and why we study English. So you get to read a range of exciting, complex, mind-boggling stories. English is sociable. It relies on talking, on arguing, on communicating with other people and sharing our ideas. It's all about creativity. How will you respond to a text that you read? And what will the stories that you write be about? In a world full of fake news, English helps us to critically study the language of politics, the media, and the world to make informed decisions about the truth. English helps us understand ourselves, other people, and the world around us. English transports us to different worlds when we read a text. And English gives you a voice to express your beliefs and your opinions, an ability to write down how you're feeling and what you think about the world. So how will the course work in Key Stage 4? So there are two separate GCSEs, English Language and English Literature. You'll study both across your English lessons in Year 10 and Year 11. Roughly 50% of your lessons will be literature and 50% language. And you will take 2 exams for each GCSE at the end of Year 11, so 4 exams in total. In English Language, you'll have 2 papers. The first paper is all about fiction, where you will read and analyse a fiction extract and then write your own piece of fiction, your own story. Paper 2 is all about non-fiction. So you will read, analyse and compare 2 non-fiction extracts, and then you will write your own piece of non-fiction, some transactional writing, so a letter, an article, a speech, that kind of thing. And then you will do a non-exam assessed piece, which is a speaking and listening endorsement, where you will give a speech verbally to an audience. In English Literature, again there are 2 papers. The first paper is Shakespeare and the 19th Century, where you will study Macbeth and A Christmas Carol. Paper 2 is Modern Texts and Poetry, where you'll study an Inspector Calls and Power and Conflict poetry, of which there are 15, and some unseen poetry. So what will you learn? In English Literature, you'll study Macbeth, a story all about a tyrant king and his loss of power. It's all about ambition, bloodshed, murder and gender roles. It's a fantastic book to read and play to watch. You'll study A Christmas Carol, which is all about change and transformation and becoming a better person. You can see there's supernatural elements in this story and it's a real heartwarmer. You'll study An Inspector Calls, which is a story all about blame and guilt and responsibility. And you can see here it's shrouded in mystery, all about an inspector. And finally, you'll study Power and Conflict poetry. There's 15 poems in this anthology, and they're all about war or power or the institutions or oppression. In English Language, we'll read some fiction extracts, some non-fiction extracts, and you'll do your own writing. I'll share some examples here of some creative writing that our Year 11 students have done this year, and of some speech writing that our Year 11 students have done too. So you can see the kind of way that you will be able to express yourself and express your voice. Firstly, the harsh heat radiated from the sun's surface as the day continued. The dry air shimmered in the distance, while soft winds disturbed the hot sands beneath his cracked and tattered boots. His long journey had begun. And another piece of creative writing. Marching in formation, the clouds smothered the metropolis with its overbearing shadows. They towered miles over the horizon, watching as they deployed their ordnance. Rain further assaulted the city with misery as the monotony of human life continued, as it always did. The wind, whispering its prediction of war with the sky, glided through the streets without any resistance. A storm was now upon them. So you can see here these students have been able to articulate themselves really well because of their English language study. On the right hand side are two examples of speech writing where students have been able to articulate their opinions and their beliefs in society. The first one. Throughout history, women have been oppressed and seen as subordinate to men and have had to face perpetual prejudice simply because of our gender. We have been denied numerous things, such as the right to vote, the ability to open a bank account without the permission of a male, and the ability to work. However, despite all the odds being against us, we have prevailed. We have fought for the right to vote. We have earned the right to be independent from males, and we have gained the ability to work. So there a student expressing their beliefs on gender equality. And finally, introverts are often stereotyped by society as shy, socially inept people who don't have opinions and are unhappy with the way they are, and so want to break out of their shell and become an extrovert. From this, one would expect some sort of misanthropic monster who hides from everyone around them, shying away from any type of social interaction. This is obviously not what they are. It is, however, the product of a society who has too long favoured extroversion, leaving introverts to have to try to conform to a way of life that feels alien to them. So here a student expressing their thoughts on introverts versus extroverts. So you can see here that English language allows students to open their minds, open their world, and express themselves in an articulate way. The skills and knowledge that you'll develop across this course include knowledge of history, vocabulary, cultures across the world, politics, writers' intentions, and so much more. You'll develop writing skills, skills of grammar, punctuation and spelling, being able to analyse, evaluate and compare, as well as developing communication skills, listening skills, and your ability to understand complex ideas. And all of these things will lead to really good quality GCSE grades, which will help you in your path into further education and into careers. Careers such as being a journalist, or a lawyer, or a teacher, or a librarian, or an author, or a publisher, or editor, or a speech and language therapist, or forensic linguist, for example, and so many more. Doing well in English opens doors to every career and opportunity that you could imagine. So that's GCSE English Literature and English Language. If you have any more questions or you want to find out more about the course, please email me. My email address is there. My name is Miss Thornton. I'm Head of English at Harris Academy, Greenwich. Thank you for listening.